Yummy. Yummy.
Kept me alive. That made it so I had a place to take a shower. That made it so I had food every day. That made it so ostensibly that I was safe. So it's always a blessing to speak with people like we have in studio today. We have LaKisha, and then we have Angie with Momco. LaKisha's with For Tucson. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you could say hi too.
So good to be on.
Yeah, here, let's talk closer to it. Yeah. But so LaKisha, if you will, one, I guess, remind our listening audience who is For Tucson, and then introduce us to Angie.
Yes. So just a quick reminder, For Tucson really focuses on systemic issues in our city. And we do that by doing in-depth research on very specific issues. And with that, it helps us be aligned with God's ways so that we can see the peace and prosperity of God throughout all generations in the city of Tucson. But it allows us to be very specific on how we unite and mobilize Christians and empowering them to put biblical principles into action as they engage our city's most systemic problems. And what I love about what we get to do, we get to go out and make friends with a bunch of different people and organizations and, just all of these different things as we study the systemic issues in our city. And one of the things that we've noticed is the brokenness in families contributes to the brokenness in our communities. So we see higher poverty rates, we see higher unemployment, we see higher numbers of kids not graduating from high school and doing that system of success. And so we then go out as For Tucson and build friendships with organizations like Angie's organization, Momco, that really focuses on very practical ways of bringing moms with youth, with their kids together and being able to use those as opportunities to share the gospel and encourage them and uplift them. But what I really loved about this is Angie and I actually met through her husband as we were doing another connection with another organization called Louise Palau Association as we sought out ways to elevate evangelism in our city. How do we elevate churches engaging more into evangelism in our city? And so then I got to meet Angie. And first of all, we connected because her husband and my husband are sports dads. And so I just paused to say that right now we both need prayer because sports dads.
Sports dads is an understatement. Like, what's the level above that?
Yeah, exactly.
Sports enthusiasts.
Yes. They're always working to bring out the fullest potential as they're on the courts or the fields or things like that. But we got a chance to interview Angie on our For Tucson podcast and really was able to get down into what exactly does the work that she's doing and how it really connects into her home life and the work that just collectively her and her husband's able to do in our city. So I'll leave it to Angie to share.
Great intro.
Yeah, she's great.
Great intro. Yes.
I call her Loquacious LaKisha.
Loquacious is
even
the
though
word.
I asked my wife if that was an insult and she said it wasn't. Actually, it's up to you whether you decide it's an insult.
It was funny when you said that. I thought, well, I remember that as an SAT vocabulary word, and I remember connecting that with my name in 8th grade.
Interesting. Okay, well, good. Then just know my intent is nothing but from my heart.
I understand that, and I receive it.
Thank you. Suits you well. Yes, thanks so much for the intro, LaKisha. But yes, Momco, we exist to really engage moms in the gospel. How do we facilitate intentional community, Christ-centered community? For this specific group who's actually in need of community, right? Yeah. We did a Barna study this past fall, and the stats were staggering. Moms are lonely, moms are depressed, moms need community, and they're looking for community, right? Yeah. And so when we come in as Momco and we partner with local churches, we partner with local ministries and other community groups, we really are seeing these women wanting to engage deeper, right? Deeper relationships, deeper friendships, but more intentionally with engaging with faith and gospel conversations. And so part of my husband's job is to really facilitate city gospel movements, what they call that, to how do we raise the level of evangelism, but how do we do it intentionally? And that happens in different sectors within that city, right? And so my specific subgroup is our moms that are looking for community, moms that are wanting to meet Jesus, but also wanting to have community with other faith believers.
It's interesting. This is an interesting topic, especially from my perspective, being obviously married to a mom, a stay-at-home mom at that, which I'm learning, even though I'm married to a brilliant woman who has a PhD and is, in my opinion, so much more capable of doing the skills of a breadwinner and of providing for the household, probably making more money than I make, but it's been a dream of hers to be a stay-at-home mom her whole life, because she feels like just because she has a PhD doesn't mean that she has to go in the workforce. It means that she gets to be a smart mom for our children.
Right.
But in that, as accomplished and as ambitious as she is, she's had difficulties in that transition in being a stay-at-home mom. And recently when we went to our couples therapy, which is not because we're having issues, but because everybody, I think, in some regard should go to some type of couples therapy, go to therapy in general, our therapist suggested finding other single moms that she can relate to, particularly single moms of faith, me being a pastor, my wife being a pastor's wife, that she can share with, that she can get lessons from, that she can learn from. So hearing you speak about what you're speaking about, it's almost like ding, God with his funny sense of humor brought you, delivered you. So
absolutely. Yeah. And that's what we're seeing, is that these moms, as they're transitioning into motherhood, they don't know where to find these groups. They don't know how to engage or get out of the house. And some of these moms, like you said, have been working moms, and now they're stuck in the depth of what motherhood looks like. And so the really cool thing is that we get about 25,000 hits a month of moms stateside, nationwide, looking for groups and looking for fellowship. So the need is there. Like what that tells us as an organization is that mothers are looking for that community. So we just need churches to partner with. We need ministry leaders. We need ladies that are very involved within the community to hold these groups, to really facilitate those types of conversations for them to meet.
Interesting. We'll talk about this more after the break, but for the women, who want to engage with Mom Co. and serve the city, how can they do that? Yeah,
start a ministry at themom.co. And if you're interested in learning more about the Mom Co., themom.co is our site. So.
Okay, so themom.co for sure. And then we have probably about 45 seconds before we run into the break. What's something you want people to know about mom.co before we jump into the break, and then we'll be back after the break, talk a little bit more.
Right. The mom.co, we really just want to empower moms. We want to engage them specifically towards leadership and towards can they now become evangelists to the moms in their community. So how do we empower them to be able to be a light and really spread that good news to the other moms?
Nice. And then other than mom.co, how can they get a hold of you or connect in with you or with the organization as a whole? Yeah,
you could find me on Instagram. anorthway is my handle, or you could email me at anorthway@themom.co.
anorthway@themom.co. Awesome. Well, we're going to talk about that and more after the break, but we definitely want to thank our sponsors that make the show possible. We got Proper Villains. We got our favorite for Tucson, Center for Self-Care, We Care Tucson, 100 plus guys who give, Tucson Tamale Company, Desert Sunset Realty, White Stallion Ranch, Bukowski Law Firm, Tucson Tool Shop, Tucson Business Networking, Roofs Are Hot, The Guys Next Door radio show brought to you by Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, Always Faithful Home Inspection, Levity Wellness Center, Crest Insurance, Tucson Pack and Ship, and Comfort Care. We'll have all that and more after the break.
The Common Good Radio Show. The Common Good Radio Show. Brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Common Good Block. This segment, the Tucson Church Radio, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission, the Homeless Veteran Transition Program on the northwest part of town, locating and connecting homeless veterans with housing. I'm blessed to be able to do it. Thank you to all the amazing veterans that have trusted me to help guide you through the process. It's been a blessing. And that being said, we have two amazing groups here with us that are serving Tucson, in my opinion, just as great, if not better, than the work that we're doing. We have Angie Northway with mom.co, and then we have LaKisha Dion with For Tucson, two people that I definitely look up to exponentially. And I've already learned definitely so much from my relationship with LaKisha and the work she's done. If you haven't got the chance to meet her, I'm sorry. I would highly recommend you take her to lunch. It'll be worth your $15. And she's one of the powerhouses in Tucson that are really a connector and a bridge between you, John Q. Public, and the mayor. Or Juan Ciscomani, John in English, and the other power figures that you may just see on TV or their signs, or you may look up to that you may not know. Okay, how do I get connected with them? How do I apply my faith and my beliefs to the everyday policies in life? Well, connecting with a person like LaKisha is how you do that. So I feel blessed to be partnered with you, LaKisha, and thank you for joining us once again.
You know what? It blows my mind. We were just talking about using our gifts and being free to do it in these different ways. So I was a young girl that used to get in trouble a lot for talking a lot and making friends and coordinating. Even when I was a stay-at-home mom, my husband would complain about I was never home because I was coordinating, I was connecting, I was building gatherings, right? Using the giftings that God has given me, and now I get to do this every single day for our city, and I get to seek the Lord and find ways, creative ways to bring His will, His kingdom to Tucson. It's a beautiful thing to be able to do. So I'm excited. So thank you. I'm taking ownership of what you said, because I think I would have cringed before. I'm like, no, don't say that. Don't say that. But I get to step into this space where I get to be a neutral convener for the Lord. And make friends. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, or if you're seeking to do good and it's going to benefit everyone, and we're going to see peace and prosperity in our city, I'm there.
Yeah, for sure. And we were talking about it a little bit during the break of, as a human, we are all humbled regularly, just thinking that I'm just little old Jonathan, Jonathan Lee McLean, just a little boy from Chandler, Arizona, no big deal. If anything magnificent that I accomplish, it was dumb luck at best. but as we really step into our calling and step into the service of something greater than us, and we all in this room call him God, we see miracles. We live miracles. Our lives are miracles. Yeah. The three of us that are here talking on the radio, we live miraculous lives. Yeah. And that is a testament to our faithfulness. Yeah. No. Sure. But let's turn back over to mom.co and talk about primarily some of the impact that you've seen from the mom groups, and how it's raising the level of evangelism in the city.
Right. Yeah. So we live in an era of participation, personalization. So when we're engaging moms and we're saying, hey, come to this group, meet some friends, there's going to be childcare. We're going to talk about topics that are very much relevant to what you're going through in this phase of life, whether it be relationships or finances, or how do I deal with my kids? These are moments that moms are really able to lean into and see it as something that is not only going to be beneficial for them spiritually and mentally, but then they're also having that break away from their children to actually form those stronger relationships. So what we're seeing here in town is I started in my specific role a year ago. And a year ago, we only had 2 groups in the city. 2 groups, great groups, but I was like, okay, this is my city. How do I own the lostness in my city? And I took it very personal. And so I started connecting with different churches, different ministry leaders, and we reimagined what it would look like to have moms that are able to mother well, but also form the faith foundation in their kids very intentionally because they're also being fed, right? And so what we're seeing across the city is the spirit of collaboration. We see these larger churches kind of mentoring the smaller churches that are engaging the same type of fellowship, same type of community for moms. And they're kind of embracing this calling. Let's reach moms. Let's make sure that there's a group in every quadrant of the city. So we partnered with some churches in Vail, in the east side, in the north side, in Marana, central Tucson. And now what we're seeing is whenever there's a mom searching for a group within the city, they have a place to gather. We visited a local church on the far east side, and I was shocked to see a mom driving 45 minutes. She lived in Marana. This church is on the east side. 45 minutes just to go to a group. Now, the cool thing that happened there was I brought a group of pastors and I was like, let's reimagine this for your church. And when they got into conversation with this one mom and they realized that she lives 5 minutes down the road from their location, it was a no-brainer. Absolutely. We want to reach moms. We want to reach the families, and we want to be intentional about it. So let's partner with Momco. Let's partner in any kind of way so we could intentionally grab those moms in a very practical way. And the practical need is community. They're looking for this. They're wanting it. So let's make it happen. Let's make it real.
Okay. Well, as a dad, obviously I've never been to one of the Momco groups.
Right.
But give me a sneak peek behind the curtain here and let me understand what, or even our listeners, let them understand what going to a group looks like.
Right. So going to a group looks like this. You'll be invited from another mom or somebody who's already involved within this group. Hey, do you want to go for an hour and a half? There's going to be childcare. There's going to be food. Don't worry about cooking. Bring your kids. They're going to be taken care of, but more importantly, you're going to be taken care of. You're going to engage with moms in the same stage of life that you're in right now. So if you're a mom that just gave birth, you have a newborn, you're going to be gathered with that specific group, and you're going to be able to talk with them about certain subjects. But not only that, is we have this really amazing thing where mentor moms that have kind of graduated past the newborn stage or the elementary stage or even the high school stage. We even see grandmas taking a part of this and sitting in as mentor moms, and they're able to pour into these younger moms that are really, really in need of, well, where do I go from here, right? There's so many questions. And so that's what it would look like. And then from there, there's a lot of follow-up afterwards. They have access to devotional studies. During the summer months, we have meetups. So there'll be meetups at the library, at the park, at the zoo. So there's a lot of ways to get involved.
That's awesome. Well, we'll spend the last minute to talk about Fort Tucson, but real quick before we run over to that, for non-moms, how can they support or volunteer or donate, or how can they help?
Absolutely, yeah. So there's a way to donate. You could donate memberships for the moms. Again, go to themom.co and find out all the information there. But this is a generational, this will transcend any specific group. Like if you're a mom, if you're a lady that's wanting to pour in, there's a space for you at the Momco. Nice. There's a space for the mom, for the grandma, for the auntie, for whatever stage of life, there's space for you there.
Well, let my wife know. Sounds like God delivered you guys to us. So thank you for being here. And I guess one last way to get a hold of you.
At Northway at themom.co or start a ministry at themom.co.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us, Angie.
Thank you.
And then LaKisha, tell us please about Fort Tucson, what you guys do and how people can get a hold of you. We got about a minute, so we have to jump out of here.
Yeah, so we really focus on systemic issues in our cities. So housing, education, poverty, and economic opportunity and development. And we do that through really researching, starting with what the Bible says about it, and then going globally, nationally, state, county, city, and then down to the 1 mile radius of the church. And so if there's any systemic issue that you're looking at and thinking, what can I do? Why is it like this? Reach out to us and we can help give you some practical ways to connect. We have a monthly breakfast where we discuss a lot of these issues the fourth Friday of each month. And we partner with you, John, in order to bring that together at the Arizona Sands Club. But those are some ways where we are inviting people to be part of the solution and not just sit on the sideline and complain.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm thankfully I'm part of it. You know, being part of those conversations, or there's some of the most
Common Good TV show. The Common Good TV show. Brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. Highlighting the good in the community. Hosted by Pastor John McLean, Tucson's favorite